Hey everyone, it's Kevin Jones with Life, Mind, and Money. It's time for another stimulus update, as there's been a lot of development of possibly a fourth stimulus plan out there. Does that mean another check? We'll have to see. But there's many ideas coming out on the Republican and Democratic side that we need to talk through. The economy is kind of spurring along here, but unemployment is still high, and we got to find ways to get out of it. So let's dive in. As always, if you're new to Life, Mind, and Money, this channel is all about getting you through these times in personal finance. So if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget the notification bell below, as they'll give you updates on future videos that come out. So, papers in hand, it's June 16th, and let me give you today's stimulus update. So, where are we at? And essentially is that there are many advisors, the Treasury Secretary and also economic advisors for the Trump administration have stated that it is very likely that a fourth stimulus plan will come out. Now, there is no timelines behind this, but what we do know is that the Senate is in session until they recess in August. So that gives us about 2 months. And they believe that with the coordination between the legislation and with the White House, that there is a high likelihood that a fourth stimulus will be needed because of how many small businesses and industries have been beaten up by this whole pandemic. It makes a lot of sense. Now, once again, we've been $3 trillion into 3 stimuluses initially, which also gave us that stimulus. And hopefully, many of you have already received your stimulus payments. And if you haven't, please check out my other videos because I hope you get your money soon. Now, as we talk about what is going to be part of that fourth stimulus, they're talking about around $2 trillion, which would bring us to a grand total of $5 trillion for all of the stimuluses that have happened, which is a lot of money. Now, if we start thinking about it, what are they going to be putting in there? And they're talking about maybe another check. Are we talking $1,200 again? Possibly. But now there's a lot of talk about how we can shift our focuses to how we can bring small businesses and industries that were hurt the most to give them some money. As some quotes from Secretary Mnuchin were, it's something that we're seriously considering about another stimulus plan, and something that is more targeted to industries and small businesses that were hit the worst. Makes a lot of sense that they're going to try to prop them up and bring them into the forefront again. But also, a shift where the stimulus payment went to all Americans who had a Social Security number. Now they're looking at maybe with that targeted fourth stimulus plan of really encouraging people to rehire people back in the workforce. And frankly, that makes sense because there's still unemployment is high. Yes, the numbers that came out last time were wonderful and it was made a sharp turn downward instead of spiking back up. But still to this day, there are 21 million people that are out of work. So if you're going to do a stimulus plan, trying to get people back in the workforce will make a lot of sense. And we'll see how that all shapes out. Now, if we shift gears here and really talk about the ideas of how industries are hurt and how ideas could really help prop that up. A really good example is that myself and my family just last week kind of got out of our home and actually took a vacation, which sounds a little weird, but we went down to Florida where Universal Studios actually opened up. And we were there for the actual first week they were open, as you can see the pictures on the screen. Let me tell you, it was a weird experience. And you could tell that the travel industry in general, by flying on an airplane, hotels, being in a theme park, there were no lines, which is great for us because we can get on anything we wanted. But you could tell that these industries were really hurting because they just don't have the capacity to bring people in with all the fears out there. Now, Universal did a great job of keeping us safe, social distancing, always wearing our masks, always having hand sanitizer, and I felt very comfortable in that environment. But it's going to take a lot of work to prop up a lot of these businesses in order to get them back to where they were back in February. Now, that gets us right into the first idea that's been floated around that may be part of that fourth stimulus plan. And it's talking about how to bring people out of their homes and start traveling again to boost tourism and hotels and airlines and all of these theme parks that have been hurt so badly in the process. So what's been floated is a stimulus package that would be a $4,000 tax credit to have people explore America, and that's what they're calling it. And what would happen here is that you have until the end of 2021 to take some trip anywhere domestically in the United States, and you would be able to redeem some of that on your tax credit up to $4,000 as long as it can't exceed 50% of the total cost of the trip. And it must be done within that time frame, as we talked about, by the end of 2021. This would give people the ability to get out, see America again, and then also be able to receive some of that money back on their next tax return. It seems like a very interesting idea to get people out, because remember, the idea of a stimulus is actually to pump money into the economy. And this is one area that's been hurt tremendously. We've talked about airline stocks and them just plummeting because there's nobody on flights. Even the flights that I was on were only at half capacity, and it makes sense because a lot of those seats, they have to remain vacant to remain socially distanced. So there's one idea that's being floated around. We'll see if it actually makes it to the final table and actually to the finish line. Now, another idea that's being passed around is we got to talk about unemployment. When the CARES Act came out, it provided a $600 a week extra bonus on top of the normal unemployment for those through the end of July. As it now is the middle of June, that benefit is soon to run out. Now, this is a point of contention. If you've seen our other videos, the Democrats want to extend this, and the Republicans want to put something else in place to get people back to work. So where we're at right this moment is that there's an idea being floated around to actually provide a bonus and let the unemployment benefit expire in the fourth stimulus plan that allows people to give people a bonus in terms of money to, if you get hired, that money is yours. A couple ideas being floated around are a $450 a week. Not sure what the time frame is, but if you get a job, that money is yours. Another idea is allowing you 2 additional weeks of that $600 unemployment. If you find a job, that money will then can be collected by you. So that would be in terms of a $1,200 bonus, sign-on bonus for you finding a job. Frankly, it seems like a good idea to encourage people to go find a job and allow people to find ways to bring extra money into their household by going out there and finding that job. Now, on the Democrat side, they want to extend unemployment of the $600 all the way through next year, and a full extension. As you can see, we've got competing ideas around here, and I don't know which one's going to win out. Ultimately, both parties are going to have to negotiate something before the end of August to get that fourth stimulus bill across the finish line. As we talked about, unemployment is at 21 million people. That is a lot. And even with the great growth spurt we had last month of about 2 to 3 million, it is still going to take months to get us back to where we were back in February. So you think about all the stimuluses we've done, there's going to have to be something extra while the economy and the stock market is booming right now. Ultimately, people in the workforce and people in jobs will ultimately get this economy back on track to where we were before the pandemic happened. So ultimately, we'll have to see how the ideas come out, because hopefully the government will provide you some incentives to get back into that workforce. So that's your update for this stimulus of June 16th. If you liked it, please smash that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. We'll continue to provide additional updates on what's happening with new stimulus bills and also personal finance topics. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.